Okay, today we're going to learn how to graph a polar graph. And instead of having x and y's, you can see that we're going to have up here r's and thetas. So the angles that we're going to plug in, we've already listed. We're going to be listing between 0 and 360 degrees every 15 degrees. We're going to find the value of r, and then we're going to try to plot the point with 0r. So if I give you the equation 2 sine theta minus 1, you would simply take the sine of 0, times it by 2, and subtract 1. Take the sine of 15 degrees, times it by 2, and subtract 1. And you would begin to get the table of values, as you can see here. Ones that you can plot, they don't need to be exact, but I have -1, -0.48. You take the sine of 30 degrees, times it by 2, and subtract 1, and you will get 0. Take the sine of 45 degrees, subtract 1, and you're going to continue that all the way on down to 360 degrees. This is why I said you're probably going to want to watch the first time and then come back and fill it in. So as you graph all of the different points, you can see what I've got here, and now what I need to do is take this table of values and plot them on the circle that you've taken and labeled with your 0 to 360 degrees. Okay, so let's try the first one. This is the key, and I haven't written it on the chart, on the table yet. You have to figure out what these rings are going to be valued at, and I want your graphs to take up the whole grid. So you have to come over to your table of values and look all the way through it and find the largest number and the absolute value. So you can see I started at -1 here, and as you go on down, they get smaller to 0, and then they're getting a little bigger up to 1, and then back to 0, and then they're getting smaller. Oh, I'm down to -2, I'm down to -3, and if I finish all the way to the bottom of this chart, okay, I end back up at -1. So the largest absolute value I have is going to be 3. Does everybody see that? I always want the outside ring of your chart to equal the largest value in your table. So in my table, the largest value was 3. So I want my outside ring to be 3. So I'm going to take this ring and I'm going to make it 3. And it will change. Each time the radius will be a different value, but in this case, the largest value was 3. Okay, so if that's 3 and I divide 3 into thirds, can everybody see this inside ring should be 1, the second ring should be 2, and the last ring will be 3. It's really nice when that happens because everything's nice and even, easily divisible by 3. That happens in this table, but not all of them. So now I want to graph 0 degrees, -1. So this is 0 degrees. This would be the positive. Which direction would I go to get a -1? If this would be a +1, where would the -1 be? Everybody agree it would be right there? -1 on 0 degrees would put my first point right there. Then I want to graph 15 degrees, -0.48. Well, here's 15 degrees. 0.48 would be right here. That's a positive 0.48. I need to go in the negative direction, 0.48. So my second point would be right there. And it just needs to be approximate. This would be -1, so this is about -0.48. Then I want to be at 30 degrees, 0. Here's 30 degrees. 0 would put me right there in the middle. 45 degrees, now I'm at a positive 0.41. Here's 45 degrees, positive 0.41 will be about right in here. See if I can get it on that line a little bit better. 60 degrees, 0.73, so I'm still not quite out to 1 yet. 75 degrees, 0.93, closer to 1 but not there. But at 90 degrees I am at 1. So we've got the first fourth of them graphed. After about a fourth, I connect them. These are always curves. Start and connect them from the beginning around as they appeared as a curve. So we've got this little hook that's running right now. It's a little curve that hooks right in there like that. And then you're going to continue, and they will continue to connect. At 105, we're out to a 0.93 again. At 120, we're at 0.73, back down a little bit. At 135, we're at 0.41. At 150, we're back to 0. So as I connect those, I get this little loop up there. And then at 165 now, which is right here, I'm at negative 0.48. Well, this would be positive 0.48. So I'm going to have to shoot back over here to negative 0.48. And then at 180, I'm at negative 1. At 180, this would be positive 1. So right here will be negative 1 at 180. So this is going to loop around and look like this. Right, now I'm going to continue on. I'm at 195. I'm going to be at negative 1 1/2. Okay, so 195 is right here. Positive 1 1/2 would come out to here. Negative 1 1/2 is going to go backwards and come to right here. 210, here's 210. Positive 2 would be right here. I'm going to go backwards to negative 2, and it's going to be right here. Okay, 225, I'm at 2.4, so this would be 2.4. I'm going to go backwards to a negative 2.4. 240, I'm at negative 2.73. 255, I'm at a negative 2.93. And at 270, which is the last one down here, I'm at negative 3. So at 270, this would be positive 3. I'm going to be back up here at negative 3. So if I continue connecting these, you can see they're just going to loop right around and come right in there. So far I've got this little squirrely loop going here. All right, I'm going to move the chart up so you can see the rest of it and continue to graph the rest of these points. Okay, I just finished at 270, so I'm now at 285. And at 285, I'm at negative 2.93. And then negative 2.73, negative 2.4, and negative 2. Then I'm at negative 1.5. And I'm going to be at negative 1. So this is going to loop back around. Should be a nice smooth curve and come right back in where it was. Okay, I call this a lily pad. I believe the book calls it a limicon for its name. But this is what this one looks like. And I'm done. I've graphed all of the points. Okay, I'm going to now try to put a pause on this and see if it works. Don't know if it's going to let me, but I hope it's not recording right now. We'll see. What I'd like you guys to do now is come over and try to fill out the table of values. Oh, see, it's got a pause on it. For the other one, so I'm going to unpause it for 1 second. See if I can make it go again.